Hello everyone, it's Silvia. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have a look at some new tarot and oracle decks and even a book that came into my collection recently. Let's do this. The first deck we're going to have a look at today is a Kickstarter word from, well, the Kickstarter campaign was a few months ago, and this deck just arrived at my doorstep this morning, and I haven't seen anyone else talking about it because, well, it was obviously funded and there were a few hundred backers, but honestly, I haven't seen it on Instagram. I haven't seen it on YouTube. I haven't seen it on TikTok or anywhere else. So I am very, very excited about this because this is the Compos Mentis Tarot. So Compos Mentis is Latin, and Compos means control or being in control, and mentis of the mind. So this is an expression that refers to when you're mastering your body and your mind at the same time, letting neither one of the two influence the other too much. So you can have a compos mentis, or rather you can have control over your mind when you also have control over your body. And yeah, that is one of those pearls of wisdom from the Latins, guys. I don't know what else to say. This is a deck that I believe it comes from the creators of the Lucid Mind Tarot as well. And so I don't know if you remember, but it was also a Kickstarter campaign from perhaps a couple of years ago now. And the deck that was called the Lucid Mind was in color. It was all photography. And there was, I believe, but I'm not entirely sure, but I believe there was some digital manipulation of the photos. And then they launched this campaign for a deck that was going to be a kind of a similar, let's say a sister deck to the Lucid Mind, so still photography. The Lucid Mind was absolutely gorgeous because there was a lot of scenery taken in the desert, which I really like. But I missed out on that deck, and then there was this friend of mine who got it, and she showed me a few cards, and I really liked it. And so when I saw that they were launching a campaign for a black and white deck that was very similar to the Lucid Mind, I jumped in because A, I like photography, and B, I believe that black and white is a very expressive technique of photography. I've talked about this before, but it's basically because the human mind, or rather the human eye, is like it's accustomed to see colors, and obviously seeing something in black and white has a completely different reaction on the retina. And it really brings up a lot of details that we would have missed, or let's say it brings us it brings our mind to focus on different things. So that is a very interesting concept. Okay, so this box, okay, well, in the back, let me just zoom in and we can have a look at this deck. So in the shadowy realms where reality and dreams entwine, the Compos Mentis Tarot whispers its secrets. Every card is a doorway, each story a thread in a tapestry woven with the surreal. As you journey through this labyrinth, I'm actually struggling with this font because the letters are very, very close together. But in any case, each card's unique narrative invites you to explore the profound depths of your psyche, where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. That's what I thought. So this is a limited edition brought to life by Olina Us. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's US. And that's exactly what I was looking for in a deck. So a photographic deck is obviously something that have a very specific relationship with reality. More often than not, the photographer will definitely choose what to show to you. And by exercising that choice, they're also showing us their own version of a story. When it comes to black and white photography, there's an even further step into the manipulation of the story, of the reality that they're showing you. And by doing so, as I was saying, I believe that we're really given the possibility to have a different reaction to things. And perhaps also when it comes to tarot, interpret the cards in a different way. That is what I'm expecting out of this deck. I didn't even open it, so you've seen me open it on camera, and so I have no idea whether it's going to achieve that or not. And I don't even have, I don't think that it was precisely the reason for the creator to produce this deck, but there is definitely the reason why I backed it. Okay, so there's, I believe that there might be a PDF file when it comes to the guidebook. I don't see a guidebook here. May your heart see what the eyes cannot, and your mind dream what the heart forgot. That's really beautiful, and it seems to be suggesting exactly what I'm expecting. But again, first time that I'm looking at this deck, other than the few photos that we were given to process for the campaign. So obviously, yes, it is in black and white, and yes, it is photographic. I really like the way in which the light has been used in this way. This is called komorebi. In Japanese, is the concept that points to the light that is filtering through a source. So when we're talking about the light that filters through the windows, for example, that is called komorebi. And I think that it's a fantastic concept, but I also love that Japanese has a word for it. So I wouldn't know how to call it in English, but in any case. Moving on, we've got the High Priestess, the Empress, really beautiful. I'm already thinking about a couple of pairings, by the way, because you guys know me, whenever I look at a new deck, I'm always coming up with pairings. It is something that is very important to me. I love this Lovers card. This is so sweet and kind, so beautiful. Oh, wow, the Chariot. Strength. So oh, wow, the Hermit. This reminds me of the Somnia Tarot, though. I'm not entirely sure, but there might be a very similar image to this in the Somnia Tarot. I'm not saying that the creator of this deck has copied Nicholas Bruno's deck. Absolutely not. But it does remind me of the Somnia Tarot. But I do like it for the Emperor. Gorgeous Justice. The Hanged One. It's a very interesting concept of the Hanged One in a swing like that, covered with foliage. I don't know whether it really screams Hanged One at me. It feels like this person has pretty much given up. And I don't associate that with the Hanged One, because the Hanged One for me is the person that, because they don't want to give up, they actually change perspective on something. Death. Really beautiful. The I believe these are called the monarch flies, butterflies, and they are the ones that migrate to breed, basically. And it is thousands and thousands of miles, so their journey is actually fantastic. I love the fact that there is this sense of coming to an end with the butterfly and the skulls of various animals around this person. I really like this. So it doesn't look, as I said, doesn't look like there is any manipulation further than photography. I believe maybe in this case, obviously, but maybe not. And I love this devil. It's it looks almost as if it were a concerned devil. It's funny because I just read a book. I'm not going to say the title because it's a big twist in the book. So if I say the title, I will tell you the twist, but I'm just going to say the twist. So there is a religious community, and instead of being a religious community dedicated to God, they're dedicated to Satan. So I found that very fascinating. Beautiful tower, may I say. Just really, really beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at this star card. That's fantastic. It looks like it's constellations. And the moon, yep. We got the symbology. And the sun. Really nice use of the light. So you can see here, obviously there is the sun here, but it's cut, the frame cuts the sun out. So it's a very interesting approach. There is an excellent use of the light. I've been working as a photographer for many years, and I have actually produced a photography show for 4 years here in Australia. And I can tell you, it's not that easy. As I was saying for Nicholas Bruno's work, so the Somnia Tarot now is also producing an oracle deck, as I can assure you 100%, the use of the light, when you master the use of the light in photography, then you start taking good photos. Until then, they'll all be crap. Obviously, we're not talking about studio photography. This is the Three of Cups. Four of Cups, fantastic, magnificent. I love this idea. Wow, I love this idea of standing in front of the big wave and, being in the water, because I really believe that this character is in the water and they're standing in front of the big wave. And even that doesn't elicit a reaction in the character. Really love this card. And the Five of Cups with the broken mirror. Oh, this is giving me really strong vibes. I have goosebumps, I kid you not. Six of Cups, obviously we're looking into the suit of water. The Seven of Cups with different doors. Oh my goodness, the Eight of Cups. So I'm gonna have to look for the meaning of this one. I have an idea, but so she's clearly, okay, this is a, what's it called, origami. So it looks like a boat, an origami boat, and she's putting the origami boat on the what looks like a body of water. Could be a swamp, could be a lake, could be a river, and she's giving away something. She's giving the boat she's made to the hands of the water. I like that. It's a very sweet concept, very subtle concept for the Eight of Cups, but I can see that. And the Nine of Cups. That is a more traditional Ten of Cups. And then we got the Page, obviously, with the koi. We got the Knight of Cups. I like the way in which the Knight of Cups is actually tending to the flower, to the rose. So it does express, the concept of love and giving away this love. But at the same time, is a static knight rather than a knight in movement. And the Queen of Cups looks almost like a mermaid. And the King of Cups. Okay, now we're going into Pentacles. Really beautiful, these ends. I don't know if I've explained this probably looking at this. I made the photos for our own wedding invitation when we got married, and I asked my husband to put his hands like this. So he works outdoors, and his hands, you can tell that he works outdoors. So they're not smooth, of course, but they show all the signs of working outdoors and being in touch with nature. And I asked him to hold a really large rose. And so that was the photo of our invitation, wedding invitation, and I still have that photo. It's really beautiful. Two of Pentacles. Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Of course, I love that. Absolutely love that. Carrying a basket of fruits or your child. Absolutely amazing. Three of Pentacles, a bit more traditional, I would say. Four of Pentacles, also traditional. Beautiful though. Love this chest. Oh, wow. Okay, trying to keep emotions out of my voice here, guys. Five of Pentacles. My mom used to be in a wheelchair for many, many years. So I know all about this kind of struggle. Not that I had this kind of struggle, but for my mom. Okay. Breathing in and out. Six of Pentacles, lovely photo. Exchanging the bread. Seven of Pentacles, really beautiful. If you ever try to curate a bonsai, you will know the struggle. Eight of Pentacles, the work that goes into being a ballerina, that is just mind-blowing. Nine of Pentacles with all of the grapes, really gorgeous. And Ten of Pentacles, that is interesting. That is really interesting. It looks like she's got something under her arm, and it looks like it may be something that she's going to play at the piano concert. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. This is just really beautiful card. And Page of Pentacles. So interesting, the Knight of Pentacles as opposed to the Knight of Cups is actually in motion, or at least is on a horse. Queen of Pentacles, really gorgeous. Oh, wow. King of Pentacles, really amazing. Absolutely love this. There is the sense of permanence given by these stones, these rocks or boulders, but also the sense of mastering your own body. And this is probably the Compos mentis as I see it. So if I were to pick a card out of this deck to signify what I believe expresses the concept of Compos mentis, this will be it. Because you're mastering the skills of balance, but you have propriety over your own body. There is also the sense of movement given by the water. Really, absolutely fantastic. Now, very interesting because you guys know me, the Suit of Swords is my favorite. So let's have a look at the interpretation and the photos. Two of Swords, very, I would say, very traditional, blindfolded person. Three of Swords. I love that there's there's no swords in the Three of Swords. Yes, I love that. Thank you for that. And I love the way it reminds me of The Thinker, which is a sculpture by Auguste Rodin. And it is a very similar pose. So I really love this. But I also love that there are all these fixtures or fissures. Sorry, I forgot the word. So basically cracks that go over all the body of the person. Really, really love this. The struggle in the mind that, you know, projects onto the body because the mind, Compos mentis, the mind affects the body. Four of Swords resting on a cloud with a glass of whiskey. Yeah, liking that. Oh, the Five of Swords. This is an interesting one. See, I would have seen this one more for the Six of Swords, as in she's moving, but obviously very difficult because she's surrounded by skulls. I will have to check this out. And then the Six of Swords, it looks like it's the migration of birds, but this little boy is looking at a crack in a wall. And so perhaps he cannot join the, oh, wow. Wow, this deck, guys, this deck is giving me a lot of goosebumps. Seriously, Seven of Swords with a mask, amazing. And the Eight of Swords, my God, this is, I'm pretty sure that this is very similar to one of the cards from the Somnia Tarot. But again, I'm not saying that they copied each other. Absolutely not. It's just that it's reminding me of that. And the Nine of Swords. Yep, absolutely. Doors open eyes at 3 a.m. and you cover yourself because you think that that will protect you, but it doesn't. Ten of Swords. Oh my goodness, I love this card. All of these hands demanding something. But also almost getting ready to slap this person. Really love that. And the Page of Swords, obviously the Page of Swords had to be someone with books. And the Knight of Swords. It does give me the idea of blindly following your ideals and your ethics, so I love that. And the Queen of Swords, which is my significator. Let's have a look. What does this card tell me? Okay, so I see a person, a profile, obviously. The light is on from this direction. It's entering, it looks like it's entering from another komorebi here. And there is smoke, the swirl of smokes in here. And there's also a painting or a photograph of an eye. So there is this sense of directionality of this person looking into the direction of the eye and the eye looking back. And there's another eye, I presume, in there. There is something there. I can feel it. I can feel it. I just don't know it yet, but there is something there, and I'm loving this. I actually love that this is a challenge for me. King of Swords with all of the butterflies, absolutely fantastic. And then the Suit of Wands with the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, more traditional. The Three of Wands, also, let's say, thinking about traditional symbology. The Four of Wands, definitely traditional. The Five of Wands, someone screaming, the silhouette of a person screaming. Wow, really powerful. And the Six of Wands with, I'm liking the Six of Wands with the eagle facing the person that has been crowned. That is a very interesting image, and I like it. The Seven of Wands, yep, absolutely standing against what you don't recognize, what you don't give credit to in the Six of Wands, you'll have to stand against. In the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands, about messages, the foliage that This is not foliage. It looks more like post-it. I could be wrong, but it looks more like post-it. Pieces of paper, and there is a sense of swirl and a sense of movement given by the wind, but I don't know whether I'm on board with this card. I will probably have to check this out. And the Nine of Wands, it gives me vibes from The Handmaid's Tale, the Margaret Atwood book, but also it has been made into a TV show. So, you know, all the handmaids in Gilead and being exhausted. Obviously, it's a black and white rendition of that, being exhausted, but having to continue on. And the Ten of Wands with the sense of impending doom. I'm not entirely sure unless this person is lifting this rock with their will. I don't know. Page of Wands, yeah, absolutely. The Knight of Wands, I can see the sense of fire. Obviously, Wands is the suit of fire. The Queen of Wands. With the performer, not so much. I don't know. I would see the Queen of Wands never covering their face. So I'm not entirely sure I'm on board with this. Definitely see the performance in the King of Wands. And then we've got two additional cards. So we got Devotion, which is really beautiful, and Disconnect. Amazing. I had a lot of emotional moments going through these cards. I absolutely love it. And I was just thinking about pairing it up with a couple of decks. So let me just grab a couple of decks and we'll see. Okay, so let's have a look, because obviously this is a photographic deck, but it's a black and white one. And so I didn't necessarily know whether I wanted to go for a black and white oracle deck or a photographic but not black and white oracle deck. I don't know. I'm going to try the Death Doula Oracle because I feel like it does have very similar kind of vibes. And also there is obviously photography here. It's not in black and white, but there's a lot of images that have limited colors. So let's have a look at how we can use these two together. Really, really beautiful. I'm liking that. Positioning between Devotion and the Four of Pentacles. Let's see, the Sun between the Four of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, that's, yeah, starting to work. The lower world between the Five of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. I'm liking these two together. I think that they work precisely because the Death Doula has this technique which is called stacking. And so obviously there is more than one negative that have been printed into a photo, one on top of the other, which is very similar to the technique that is used by the tarot deck, in the tarot deck, the Circle of Doors. But it feels like these two have the same vibes. There's a lot going on in the images of the tarot, and there's a bit less going on in the oracle card. But that is because there's this sense, or there's this kind of a wink towards an abstract kind of art style. So I'm okay with that, because I was reading the back of the box of the Compos Mentings, and it was talking about, you know, moving towards surrealism. We can feel it a lot more in this card rather than this one, but I can definitely feel it from the cards. Really, really beautiful image. The Six of Swords, the Ace of Cups with remodeling. Oh my goodness. Well, the Ace of Cups can be seen as the card pointing to remodeling, in the sense that you are renewing you know, the bond with your mother through a new relationship. And there is the Six of Swords, and that obviously this is literally pointing out to that concept and going through a really beautiful but very daunting, very difficult journey of finding a bond again with your mother. But also the mother is seen as the divine feminine. Magic with the Seven of Swords and the Two of Cups. Amazing. Serenity with the Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. We just watched the finale of Yellowstone yesterday, so that reminded me of that. pleasure with the Queen of Pentacles and the Temperance card. That's absolutely amazing. Really, really loving. I think that we may have a really good match. Growth with the King of Pentacles and the World, absolutely. So we have a really good match here. But I just wanted to try it out with a couple of other decks. So bear with me. Let's have a look. Okay, so the second deck that I wanted to pair with this tarot deck is I believe it's called the Sacred Nature Oracle. It's a really beautiful photographic deck. It is not in black and white, but it is still almost duochromatic. And it is more of like a sepia kind of effect. And it does have this combination between a plant and the image on the card. So it is it's one of my favorite oracle decks, to be honest. I absolutely love it. But because it is this very specific kind of style, it is not entirely easy. It's not always easy to find a good pairing with a tarot. But I'm looking at these two together, and oh my goodness, I think that we've got an even better pairing than with the Death Doula here. It doesn't create too much of a difference, like a dissonance between the black and white of the tarot deck and the sepia effect. Let's call it sepia effect. It's not 100% sepia effect. There's also, some manipulation in the shadow and the highlights of the cards, but it doesn't feel like it's out of place. It feels like it can actually work together, and I love the fact that we can have some directionality thanks to the way in which the cards, or the characters rather, on the cards of the oracle are looking in one direction or another. So the positivity is towards the Two of Wands rather than the Judgment. So don't feel the heaviness of having to give having to hold yourself responsible for what has been done. Don't focus too much on this one. Think about it later, but for now focus on looking into your world and seeing that it is too small for you, because it really literally sits on the palm of your hands, and so you want to expand on that. So that seems to be telling that by focusing on that card rather than the other card. And then we got someone breaking the fourth wall here with balance between the Three of Wands and the Eight of Cups. So the Three of Wands, the balance in the Three of Wands is telling you to break, just break free and expand your horizons and conquest what you can. But at the same time, balance that with the sense that you're also leaving something behind. That's really beautiful with the Eight of Cups. And comfort with the Four of Wands and the Tower. Wow, okay, so find your moment of comfort, find that sense of being together in the best possible way by possibly eliminating the ego, with the Tower card. Alleviation with the Five of Wands and the Three of Cups. And really interesting to see what's coming up for the Three of Swords. Humility with the Three of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. That is a beautiful message. It almost seems to suggest that wanting to be the best one or the first one in all occasions is going to end sooner or later, because the Wheel of Fortune reminds us that what goes up must come down at a certain point, and vice versa. So if we take that with a sense of humility, it would just save us from the pain of having to experience that firsthand. Cleansing with the Eight of Pentacles and the Star. Wow, that's so beautiful. So there is this sense of doubling down on your work and discipline, and really getting into the core of your job and your career and things. At the same time, though, this requires a lot of cleansing, and the cleansing that is necessary in order for you to finally be able to focus 100% on what you're doing, with the hope of establishing these connections and reaching your goal. Acceptance with the Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. And then one more, sensitivity with the Ten of Pentacles and the Devil. Really beautiful. I really love this pairing. I am definitely going to focus on this pairing for the rest of the month. I was working with a few decks, but I wasn't entirely happy. And now that I've seen this one, I'm entirely sold. So absolutely gorgeous. I just want to try one more deck with this tarot deck, and then we'll move to another deck that I've got in my collection. Okay, so just to try another one, or maybe two, but in any case, this one is the When Olga Speaks Oracle by Sasha Lopez. Absolutely one of my favorite collage oracle of all times. Absolutely fantastic. And the good news is that this time around, she has kickstarted a campaign and then some. It was a fantastically successful campaign. And now she is going to, produce this deck. So I am very excited for it. Now, obviously, this is a collage, so it's not exactly the same technique, although it is still photography. And there's figures in black and white. There's elements in black and white in the cards. So, wow. Amazing. Celebrate with the Two of Pentacles and Death. Celebrate a moving of time, even though it may feel difficult, like a balancing an act. And 10, wow, oh my goodness. So I went from the Death Doula, which made me happy because it felt like it was really working, to the Sacred Nature, which really blew my mind, to the When Olga Speaks, which is, oh my goodness, I love these two together. I think this is my favorite so far. I wasn't entirely sure because obviously you have to take into consideration that sometimes when there's color in one deck and there's black and white in another, then it doesn't necessarily work. But this does. The strategies with the Page of Cups and Strength, absolutely. My goodness, that is such an amazing combination and communication between the Queen of Swords and Justice. Yeah, it's all about communication. It's all about but also the Queen of Swords and Justice are practically sisters cards. Loving this, absolutely loving this. Really, really beautiful combo. Trust with the Queen of Cups and the Page of Wands. And really giving me goosebumps. Ancestral protection with the Knight of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. You're going through loss, of course, but you're being protected. This is Olga, I believe. Olga was Sasha's grandmother. And Sasha says that when she was speaking, she was yelling. Actually, I think that's Annette from the Project Refine Life that says that. She also has this deck. I really love these two together. I think that it's a fantastic combination. I think that there's a lot to be worked on. It really is one of those combinations that it gives you the joy of having a new deck. This is really making me happy because when I acquire a new deck that I didn't have the possibility to see a lot of, obviously, because on a Kickstarter campaign, you can only see a few cards. Sometimes you can see the full deck. But in this case, I think I was looking through it through my phone and not entirely sure about I liked it or not. But now that I've got it, it makes me so happy that not only I love it, but also I absolutely love the way in which I am founding combinations for it. It's really fantastic. But let's move on to the next new deck in my collection. Okay, so the next deck is a deck that I got for a very specific purpose, and again, it's referring to a tarot and oracle combination. This is an oracle deck. It's called the Intuition. Just that, Intuition. So literally, if you want to find this one, if you want to Google it, you just have to Google Intuition Oracle, which is, it's like, okay, why didn't anyone else think of that? Of course, Intuition Oracle. It's almost like saying Tarot. The Tarot and the Intuition Oracle, it holds the answers you seek by Rebecca Lipp and Craig Phillips. I have ordered this one new, paid for it new from Amazon, but it came with these two stickers, which makes me very suspicious because it's not always the case. But more often than not, when I received a deck with two stickers like that and not the complete wrap up, was because it was a used copy, or rather someone had already opened it up. But it's not always the case because sometimes they just don't do the cellophane thingy. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. The Intuition Oracle. Let's have a look. Obviously, it does come with a guidebook. And yeah, it's not, so there's no wrap on the deck either. So it may very well be a used copy, as in someone ordered it, they looked at it, and then they sent it back, which is, I did that just a couple of times, but not because I didn't like the deck, but because it was completely warped, and I sent photos and I said, guys, I can't even lay it still, I can't work with this one. But I'm not complaining because it looks perfect. I was really looking at the gilding closely, and there's absolutely no chipping, so it's okay by me. I mean, and I'm not entirely sure that it is indeed used. It might be that the producer, they released the deck this way, so it's absolutely fine. Let's have a look at the Intuition Oracle, the guidebook. So you can see there's a full page for the card here. It is in black and white though, and the Oracle is not in black and white, but I'm absolutely fine with that. If it can keep the costs down, I'm absolutely for it. And then we've got the keyword. Then we got a message for forgive. We got forgive others and yourself. And now we got a short description or a short message related to the card. Forgiveness releases you from the bonds of pain energy. You do not need to carry the anger or resentment any longer. It weighs you down. Yep. It prevents you from fully experiencing life. It prevents you from really enjoying all there is ahead. And there is so much to be celebrated and enjoyed. Don't deny yourself that. Do you need to forgive yourself? So the second part looks like it's prompt. For journaling or meditation, do you need to forgive yourself? This could be a time to offer yourself compassion. We make mistakes, and this is how we grow. Holding onto guilt or regret doesn't serve you. Find a way to start moving forward. Forgive yourself. Signs: forgiveness, compassion, healing, growth. It looks more like keywords. I'm liking this one. It's very simple. It's very approachable, very easy to understand and to work with. I like that. So I thought that there would have been questions at the bottom for all the cards, but it looks like I got the only one that did have a question. But it does offer you with at least some kind of a prompt for a reflection or a journaling page. For this one, for example, is the Sia, a message is on its way. And there is a bit of description of the card here, but then it says, pay attention to your dreams and to things that seem out of place during the day. So there is a little bit of a call to do something about the card, which I always appreciate in an Oracle deck. And also we do have an index, so if we want to go straight to the card. I wonder whether there are spreads, but it doesn't look like there are. No, maybe at the end. No, that's an ending with the card. Absolutely fine. I mean, it's a mass market deck. It was very affordable, released by Bound Books in 2022, which is an imprint of Welding Books. Words. Okay, fair enough. And published by Bound Books in 2024. So this is already the second print, which is amazing because I have never seen this deck around. Maybe people don't like it, maybe people don't know about it. I have no idea. As I said, okay, so you see here, obviously I'm trying to separate the cards one from the other, but because of the gilding, there is a little bit of glue, and that creates a little bit of struggle. Perhaps doing like this will help, but then I will be worried about ruining the gilding. In any case, I will have to separate the cards one from the next one, so it might take a while. So this is really beautiful, and as I was saying, I got this deck because I had in mind, see, I think that there's two cards, but I'm not entirely sure whether they're really thick. Okay, no, it's just one card. They are rather thick. They're rather thick. So I had a couple of tarot decks in mind that I really wanted to find an Oracle deck for. And I was hesitating. I was looking at Instagram. I was looking on any kind of websites. I was also looking at, for example, you know that you can do that thing with Google, that you take a photo and you put it on the search and it gives you alternative photos or photos that are very similar. So sometimes it will give you, if you take a photo of a tarot deck, it will generate result of other decks that are similar, and sometimes these other decks will be other tarot decks, but it may also come out as oracle decks. And so I do that sometimes. Oh, look at this card, Deep Knowledge, really beautiful. Very beautiful, this card. Absolutely love the red hair. So it is kind of hard to separate the cards, I have to say. I probably have to go, let me just go through all of them because otherwise it will take me ages. Okay, so hopefully it will be easier now. And I have to say, after having to separate the cards and taking time to do so, and even when I separated, they tend to stick back together. It will take some time for this deck to be easy to use. I have to say, it was quite clear to me that it was not open because otherwise the cards will be separated already. Forest, such a beautiful card. I absolutely love this deck. I love I love everything about it. I love the colors. I love the atmosphere, this storytelling kind of atmosphere that we've got. These are really beautiful images. The color palette is very soft and I appreciate that. But also I have to say the images are very eloquent, but at the same time, the keywords are very communicative as well. So I'm finding no problems whatsoever in relating to the cards and looking through the reading the keywords. Oh, I love this observer card with the finally, age. We're looking at an elderly lady, so there is some kind of age diversity in the deck as well. Really nice and appreciated. This card is fantastic. The pause card, really lovely card. So I'm very happy that I found this deck because the more I look at the cards, the more I'm convinced that the reason why I bought it, that I was saying earlier, is to pair it up with one of my favorite tarot decks of 2024. As a matter of fact, that tarot deck was featured in my top 10 mass market decks of 2024. And let me just show you because I think it will work. Okay, obviously you probably know which one I'm talking about now, but it's the Under the Oak Tarot by Ofrida and Strega delle Mele. This is a 2024 release from Los Carabeo. It's a story of Anima. Anima cannot see, and but she's going through this adventure in life. And this is what I call my storytelling deck because Anima cannot see. That's the name of the character. We have to see for her. We have to look at what's in front of us. We have to look at all of the challenges she's going through, and we have to describe them to her. And that is the role of a storyteller. You literally, you are the seer in a world of people that cannot see. And so that is an amazing concept. And I really like to see whether that works out or not, but I believe it does. We're looking at very similar color palette here. Let me just level these up. Actually, I'll do like this because this is a lot thicker than this one, the cardstock. So I might actually leave them on because obviously being thicker, when I remove a card, it will go, it will lower down at a faster pace than the tarot. So let's have a look and see whether these two actually speak together. It looks like it does. Really very similar color palette, as I said. And ironically, it feels like this character is also floating on water, and Anima here is looking down at a well, at a number of wells. So Surrender with the Seven of Cups and the World card. And wow, that's so beautiful. Synchronicity with the Page of Cups and the Eight of Swords. Absolutely. Finding that sense of using your empathy to but also release yourself from the cage you're in, that the Page of Cups in many cases is overwhelmed by feeling all of the feels, and so that is actually a cage for them. And the Warrior with the Empress and the Hierophant, such a beautiful, look this one, the very similar images, very similar colors. It feels like you can tell that it's not made from the same artist, but you can also tell that there's a lot of similarities. And I would go as far as to say that there's a lot of echoes in here. The water is always seem to be present. It's very beautiful. Wow. Oh, I'm loving this. Absolutely. Shadow Self with the Two of Swords and the King of Pentacles, of course. Knight of Pentacles. I'm still picking up more than one card because they're still sticking one to the other. It's fine. It's not on the surface of the card. It's just on the edges because of that particular kind of gilding, which is, wow. Look at this. It's almost as if it were a mirrored image. So really, really beautiful. So with the wolf curled up at her knees. Really, really nice. Will be very interesting to, when I start reading more with this Oracle deck and I start learning about it a little bit more, it will be very interesting to see the meaning of the cards as explained in the guidebook. So Observer with the Page of Wands and the Six of Wands, but the directionality looking towards the Six of Wands, and ironically Anima is actually looking back. So it's almost as if these two characters were looking at each other and one is blindfolded and the other one is closing their eyes. So there's so much in here. It's really so beautiful. I am really loving it. And I don't know, this might be the day. Oh, look at this. Again with the water. Wow, that's really amazing. So this might be a good day for pairings, guys, because I'm kind of in the zone here. I'm being inspired by these decks and the way in which they resonate with each other. And really, oh, look at this. It's the same kind of figure. Very similar. So, wow, that's so beautiful. Really beautiful, these two together. And I'm thinking any other tarot deck that has this kind of art style will pair really well with this Intuition Oracle. So I'm also thinking, for example, the Exile or the Monsoon Tarot, both of them very similar kind of art style to this. Actually, I do have the Exile Tarot, so I'm loving the combo with the Under the Oak. Let me just try it out with the Exile Tarot because I've got it right here next to me. So it's this one here. I do have the Awaken edition simply because I do need to see a face and I do need to read the expression on the face. So if you're not familiar with this deck, this is by the same creators as the Monsoon Tarot. And there were two versions in the Kickstarter campaign. One of them was called the Awake edition and one is the Silent edition. The Awake edition has faces and the Silent edition doesn't have faces. And that's pretty much all there is to talk about when it comes to these two different editions. It is an amazing deck. This is my revenge on the Monsoon Tarot because I loved the art style of the Monsoon Tarot, but because there were no faces, I kind of had a bit of a problem. And I really appreciate the fact that we do have faces in this one, even though I just saw a card where there were no faces. I don't know whether that was a problem, like a mistake or something. We do have faces here. So as you can see, this type of art style is very similar. It's not, you can tell that it's different, but it's not that dissimilar. So you do create these kind of bridges between the cards when you read them. There's a lot to be said here about directionality as well. So I'm really enjoying this. I think that we are witnessing another really good combination. There's a very similar color palette as well in both these decks. And wow, that's so beautiful. I think that the Under the Oak is probably a winner if I had to pick between the Under the Oak and the Exile Tarot to be the best combo with the Intuition Oracle. But I have to say, I am really, really in awe of these two together as well. And that is probably also because I have been seeing so many excellent pairings today that obviously something that is not a 10 out of 10 feels like, instead of being a 9 or an 8, it feels like a 6 because it's not as incredibly powerful. But I really like these two together as well. I think that they combine really well. They match up to a, like an 8 out of 10. I would definitely give it a score as high as that. Really loving these two together. But as I said, any other deck, so the Monsoon Tarot, for example, or even very specific manga themed decks, I'm thinking these are, these colors are, let's say, soft enough to be used also with the yokai tarot, I'm thinking, even though obviously the yokai tarot is very specific when it comes to the thematic, so it's not necessarily a good match. In any case, absolutely stunned by these decks. Really, really love them. And then we've got another couple of decks, but I'm going to show them to you together because I bought them together because I want to pair them up. So today is all about pairings, and I have no idea how this is gonna go, especially because the pairings that we've seen so far were absolutely stunning. And so, you know, the expectations are really high, and I don't know if they're going to match that well, but I'm talking about these two. So these two decks, these are tarot decks. And yes, I normally don't pair up tarot deck with tarot deck. But when I saw the Star Maiden, which is kind of new, I think it came out a few months ago. In Australia, it just came out, or maybe a couple of months ago as well. I really love the color palette. It does have some of my favorite teal and also the burnt orange and the salmon raw pink together. So I really, really love this. And I also love, obviously, the art style. And it did remind me a lot of some of the colors in the Tarot of the Divine. Now, this is new in my collection. I used to have the Tarot of the Divine a few years ago. Let me just reopen it. Then I rehomed it because I found it very frustrating. It was a period of time in which I really wanted to use tarot decks almost exclusively in combination with an oracle deck, and I couldn't really find any deck that would pair well with this. And so I rehomed it. I knew that it was a mass market deck. I was checking this out on the hashtags on Instagram, which, by the way, they were saying that hashtags on Instagram will not be searchable anymore. I don't know when that will happen, but I can still do the search. So I don't know whether they changed their mind like they often do on Instagram, or it's still at a future date. In any case, you can still search the hashtag for Tarot of the Divine, and it had 17,000 posts. Having said that though, Tarot of the Divine is not always specific to this tarot deck. You can see Tarot of the Divine meaning something else, so it wasn't entirely 17,000 posts just on this deck. It is the concept is very beautiful. It is about all of these basically legends from around the world, and I love that the guidebook gives you the location and the name and a bit of the explanation of the legend. There is, however, a much bigger book that could be called a companion book to this deck, because obviously these legends deserve a lot more space than this. So if I'm really loving these two together and I want to invest a little bit more on the Tarot of the Divine, I will make sure to grab a copy of that deck, guidebook or companion book as well. And it is a little bit warped, I have to say. It's a lot warped, as you can see. It doesn't necessarily bother me. I paid full price for this, and this came again with that sticker, which still doesn't tell me much. This one is entirely new, but because it's wrapped up. So let's open this. But as I said, I don't really mind. I mean, unless the deck came damaged, and it did happen, and that was the reason why I had to send it back. And that was the first time that I bought what was it, the Edgar Allan Poe Tarot. It came with a sticker, and when I opened it up, the inside sleeve was completely torn. So I just sent them photos and I said, look, I know that sometimes you're resending decks that have been opened and they have absolutely no damages, and I'm fine with that. But this one has damage. So, and they have, I have to say, Amazon is not that difficult to give out refunds, or if you want, they send you a new copy. So at least in Australia is kind of good for these kind of things. It reminds me also of Tihana Lukovic art style. So she's the illustrator of the latest seasons of the Witch Oracles. And so it makes me think that this deck will probably pair up well also with any of her Seasons of the Witch Oracle decks. We got a chunky book, so that'll be interesting. I don't want to break the spine though, and it feels like if I open it just a smidge more, it will definitely break it. So it's interesting because for some cards, we see a shorter description. For other cards, we have the full page. But it will be interesting to go through this. Let's see, also same. So we got something upright and reversed for each and every card, whether it's a major or a minor. And we do have the zodiac association. Let's see if I agree with the zodiac association, because sometimes it's not entirely correct. But I see that, yes, for now we're there, so it's fine. So we do have a thumb print, a smaller one of the cards on the left. So it doesn't necessarily come with a ton of information, but it still is interesting. It doesn't have a lot of spreads, maybe at the back. So this is Anna Kirschen. And I'm thinking, yes, it does come with the couple of spread, it's absolutely fine. I mean, this is a US game stack, so obviously it does come with this compact box, which I'm very, very, very grateful for, because it doesn't occupy an incredible amount of space. But I have to open this up as well. Okay, here we go. So I have to say, this is a linen finish and it feels very slippery. So I actually, when I removed the wrap, the deck exploded and went in all of the corners of the room, which made me hike around to just find it. So let me see, because I'm just going to show you these two side by side, not because I wanted to make a comparison, because obviously we're looking at two different decks, but because I'm very interested to see whether I was right or not when it comes to the possibility to pair them up together. They look very similar also when it comes to the cards. Am I hallucinating? So they look, so far they look very similar when it comes to the cards as well. Very similar. I'm just wondering, because I know that this is by Yoshitani and this is by Anna Kirschen. So it's not the same creator, and obviously we are starting to see some differences. I was freaking out there for a moment. Really beautiful. But yes, I do believe that the colors actually match. The Chariot. That's very beautiful as well. The Strength card, there's a lot of red in here as well. I really think that these two could match because of... they also have the same cardstock, I have to say. I mean, it is a different release, obviously. This is US Games, and this one is, let me just double check because I don't remember, Clarkson Potter Publishers. So not the same publisher, but very similar cardstock. It is a kind of linen cardstock that is, let me say, I don't want to say cheaper version, but it's not the luxurious linen that we used to when we look, for example, at Yokai Yochi. But it is a linen version, and I like it. Oh, really beautiful, the devil. With the snakes, of course. Very similar tower card as well. Beautiful star card. I will have to go with this one as my favorite. And the moon. So I'm just going to speed this up when I'll be done with the major arcanas, because I don't want you guys to have to, look at the whole deck. Obviously, these are first impressions. I am not. So we start with the Ace of Cups. Very interesting. And sorry, the Ace of Swords here and the Ace of Cups here. So very interesting. But I'm just gonna go through the cards like that because, again, this is not a deep dive at all. It's just a first impression in unboxing. And I just wanted to be able to tell whether I was hallucinating when I thought that the colors would have matched or not. I think that they do, but there's only one way to find out. So as soon as I'm done showing you the cards, I am literally going to shuffle the two decks and then I'm going to try and see whether they match. Really think that this will combine really well with the Seasons of the Witch Oracles. I may actually incorporate that into the pairing. Okay, let me do a couple of things and let's see how it works. Okay, here we go. So I've chosen in bulk. Seasons of the Witch in bulk because it's the one that seems to have more bluish kind of color palette, which obviously it starts with a cinnamon roll color, which does not have any blue, but that's fine. And let's have a look. So Dream Realm between the Three of Cups and the Six of Cups. Definitely the tarot decks have that kind of common color palette. and it looks like a really good match when it comes to that. For the aesthetics, I definitely think that if we do this, we will see these two as a really good match. But obviously this is not a good match for, so the oracle, this oracle is not a good match for the Tarot of the Divine. So we need to find a way to work with these two together. Let me just do this because I feel like we've got something going on here, definitely more than I expected. Oh, there's something on the card. Yes, definitely. It feels like there's a lot of similarities between the art style. Again, as I always say, obviously it's not the same creator, so it's not exactly the same, but you do feel how it can work together. That's rather beautiful. Really, really like beautiful. So I'm quite happy because I can also use any other of the Scissors of the Witch Oracles with this deck. And it is about the Star Maiden, so there's obviously a little bit of astrology there. Now, just to repeat this combo and see whether I like it still. Oh, definitely, absolutely. Okay, now I'm quite happy about the way in which these two pair up together. I don't know whether I want to use them the way I did before on the two sides of an oracle, or I want to actually just use these two together, which is an option for sure. An unusual one for me, but still an option. I have been known to do that in the past. Really loving these two together, absolutely fantastic. And now let me just show you a book that I've got into my collection. So you guys will be very familiar, I believe, with the Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care. It's an oracle deck with this character here. When I looked at the deck, well, in Australia it's rather expensive, so I didn't feel like buying the deck because I asked myself, am I actually going to use it, or am I just going to go through the pages or the cards themselves? And that is what's going to be most likely my choice. And so I saw that they also had this book. So it is exactly the same, but it's a book form of the Oracle deck by Bybee. So the Little Frog's Guide to Self-Care. And so I bought the book inside because it's very affordable. It was only 17 Australian dollars. And I thought to myself, you know, if I really, really love it, then one day I can definitely splurge for the Oracle deck, which I don't really understand why. I believe it's something like $40 and it doesn't have a lot of cards. And I don't really think that it's justified. Self-care for hard times, absolutely. So everyone, I think, is familiar by now with this character. Is a frog wearing boots, really, really glamorous boots, and a hat in the shape of a mushroom. And it has been taking Instagram by a storm, or at least that's where I got to know it first. And I really love it. I love the messages that come with it. I love how much it resonates and the images resonate with when we feel like this. And I also was reading some of the reviews of the book, not the Oracle deck, but the book, and they were saying that this is actually being used for therapy. So it is one of the many tools that psychologists and psychotherapists use for therapy, and they were saying that it's very effective. So I was really curious and I just splurged and I got this. If you want to build a better relationship with your body, try thanking it. Thank the parts of your body that you use a lot or the parts that you judge the most. Maybe give yourself a little hug too. I love that it changes the shoes and they're always so glamorous. I think that it is a fantastic work because you know, you look at the images and yes, they're whimsical, yes, they're funny, and there's something slightly ridiculous about the concept of a frog wearing boots and you know, 70s platform boots and cowboy boots and a hat and a mushroom for a hat, but at the same time it is very gentle and kind and soft. And so you can definitely feel like it's a space that is it feels very safe and it's non-judgmental. Because this frog is so ridiculous sometimes. I feel like it's okay to be in the company of the frog and also to feel like we can be ourselves. I am worthy of my dreams as anyone else. My body works so hard for me. I am absolutely loving this. Magic always reveals itself when I'm willing to see it. So I don't know if you guys have I saw Lisa was unboxing it and I saw someone else was talking about this deck. And if you guys have it, just let me know. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. Just let me know if you think that it's worth it for me to splurge on the deck as well, now that I have the book. I don't think, honestly, I would use the deck. I think that having the book makes me feel like I want to read the book and I want to pick it back up every now and then. So I would probably work a little bit more with the book rather than the deck. But if you look at the book and you feel like there's actually a lot more in the deck that I should see, then let me know. I'm always open-minded, obviously. I just hope that I could find it for less than $35, $38, $40. I think that, or it might be a fantastic production value. I have no idea because I don't have the deck, so let me know. And that was it for today. So a few decks and a book. I hope you enjoyed this. In any case, have a great day.